Hey everybody, Neil Thompson, founder of Teach the Geek here. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. I did a video recently. Actually, it was an interview with speaker coach Lois Kramer on how to become a paid speaker. And for those who have checked out that episode, thank you. For those who haven't, please do. But ultimately, when it comes to being a paid speaker, there are essentially two ways to go about it. In the video I did with Lois, we were focused more on the paid to speak model, which is you give a presentation, the organization you gave the presentation for pays you a speaker fee, and you're done. That's essentially it. You give the speech, they give you the money. But then there's another speaker model that you could potentially be interested in, and that's the speak to sell method, a speak to sell model. And in this model, you don't get paid a speaker fee, but you're giving presentations in front of a target audience that you want to reach. Perhaps you're someone who sells something, you sell products and or services. And if you're speaking in front of people who'd be interested in buying whatever you're selling, then perhaps the speaker fee isn't is as important as it is to get in front of those people who would potentially buy whatever you're selling. And you could very well make more money than you would with a speaker fee. But that only applies if you actually have something to sell. If the only thing you're selling is the speech itself, well, then the paid to speak model is the one that you're going to focus on. And from what I can see, that's the one that most people think about when it comes to being a paid speaker. I give the speech, I get the money. The issue with that is that there are a lot of venues out there that don't pay speakers. I mean, I've actually seen some data when it comes to conferences that you could potentially speak at, but half of them don't even have a speaker budget. So what are you supposed to do in those instances? Well, I mean, you could develop some products and services and adopt the speak to sell model. Certainly, you could avoid such conferences that don't pay speakers. Or, I mean, in those instances, perhaps you get other things, other tangibles that just aren't a fee. Maybe you get video from that presentation. Perhaps you get testimonials for potentially paid gigs or paid engagements. Perhaps you get just other book sales. Maybe if you have a book or something else besides the fee. But when it comes down to it, there's more than one way to skin a cat, I suppose. And not only that, you can not even pick a method, pick a model. You can use both. For instance, for myself, for those because I do sell services, I have no issue going to conferences if my target audience is in the audience. So I don't mind paying waiving my speaker fee to get in front of those people who could potentially buy whatever I sell. But then when I go into companies and do trainings, well, that's paid. There's no other tangibles that I would want other than the fee that I would charge to do the trainings. But that's essentially what I want people to think more to think about. Certainly, I think when most people think about professional speaking or paid speaking, they think about getting paid to speak, the paid to speak model. But there's other model, and the speak to sell model, and that's a viable model too. I know a number of speakers who use that model way more than the paid to speak model because, as I mentioned, a lot of conferences don't even pay their speakers. So if you're in that situation, well, now, hey, I'll just switch over to the speak to sell and now get people on an email list and market to them that way. Although I will say that you could potentially do that with paid to speak as well. But that's essentially what I wanted to cover, just the differences between the paid to speak and the speak to sell models and what they are and how you can potentially use them to your benefit. Hopefully this has been helpful. Again, my name is Neil Thompson. I'm the founder of Teach the Geek. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. Until next time, take care and stay safe.